What's up guys, welcome to this month's top 5 video. For this video, we have decided to share with you guys our top 5 comedy movies. The ones that have just made us laugh are just asses off to the point of either just pissing ourselves or made us laughing so hard we cried. And we also have honorable mentions, well he doesn't but I do. Right. And we also have that one shit stain of a comedy that made us go like, this isn't funny at all, you guys suck at writing jokes, don't even do it.
I'll tell you guys, give you a hint, I was this close from leaving the movie theater.
And for mine, I was this close to puking multiple times. First, as someone will mention, my first one goes to, this is more of a recent movie, Seven Psychopaths. Right. I remember showing you this after seeing movie 43. I love it so much, I gotta let you guys hear this. It's my ringtone.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I love this ringtone. I swear to God, this thing goes to the most perfect moments.
Well, that's just fucking great!
Everyone does a great job in acting. Christopher Walken.
He plays a really good creepy guy, like seriously.
It's more of a black comedy, but it's a black comedy done right. My next honorable mention goes to Kevin Smith's Clerks, which I was talking to you about earlier. Basically, the thing I love about this movie is how realistic it seems. Basically, it's just a guy who is hungover as can be, gets a call from his work saying you need to come in. He's like, I'm not supposed to be in work today. That's kind of like a recurring joke throughout the entire thing when he says, I'm not even supposed to be in today! Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's a scene where Randall has a job inside a video store. There's a mother and a baby in front of him and he's like, hold on a second. And he has a caller on the phone. He starts reading her a bunch of porn titles. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then my final honorable mention goes to, I know some people are going to be mad that this is not on my list, but Caddyshack. It's such a funny movie, but I mean, it felt to me more like a drama than a comedy. But I mean, although there are parts that have made me laugh so hard.
Actually, I would actually agree to that as an honorable mention. I'm going to go ahead and do like a last minute one. Yes, yeah. Caddyshack, for sure. Because it was very hilarious in many different points of the thing. And yeah, she had a point there. It was kind of like a dramedy, but I don't know. I think the one thing on that movie that won me over was the gopher. I don't know why.
Oh, the gopher was priceless.
The gopher's funny.
You have to love the gopher. That thing was just adorable, but it causes so much mayhem.
Most adorable things do.
Number 5.
Now, for number 5, Shane and I share the same number 5, and that is the hilarious British comedy, Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, yes.
This movie, if you guys haven't seen Shaun of the Dead, you're missing out on so much of some of the funniest parodies to zombie movies ever.
It is. There's so many different references to different zombie movies out there. If you're a big fan of that kind of thing, you'll immediately recognize it. The quotes from the characters, the little quick back and forths here and there between them is just done so brilliantly.
Yeah.
That I honestly didn't think a zombie movie could be funny. And it is.
Yeah, exactly. There's this one time that always sticks out. It's when Sean and his gang were like pretending to be zombies going to the Winchester. There was that one handicapped zombie.
Oh yeah, there was one that was handicapped and was actually rolling along in a wheelchair.
It was freaking hilarious.
It was kind of funny.
One scene that I always remember is when they're trying to divide to kill Sean's stepdad.
Oh yeah.
Get Lizzie, goes to this, sorry Phil, and just knocks him in the head with it.
Oh yeah, and that's what also brought me to my love of using a cricket bat as a weapon.
And Left 4 Dead. The reason why also is because it's British comedy. It's British, and
it is, but it's not. See, the thing is that it's done so that Western people, such as you and I, can understand it better because there's different mannerisms and such that they use that we don't understand. Plus, their humor tends to be dry at points.
Oh yes.
But it's been done to. It's been done so well that even people here in the U.S. will enjoy it quite a lot.
Yes, and I just love those accents too.
That's why I love being half English. I love it.
Number 4.
Number 4 for me. This is a Mel Brooks movie. I know this is definitely on your list for sure, but that is Blazing Saddles.
Oh man.
My dad showed this to me as a kid.
Did you forget that they said the N-word on there too?
Oh my god. Django Unchained to me was like the new Blazing Saddles.
But much more gory.
One scene that I always remember when he was first announced as the sheriff, and then he's like, the sheriff isn't! Mel Brooks in that one role as the mayor. Oh my god.
Yeah, he always tends to show up in his movies. That's one thing you gotta look out for is when he shows up in his movies.
I don't remember the movie too well, but all I remember is that's a movie that has made me laugh so hard on so many occasions, and I love that movie so much, and that's what's my number 4.
Number 4 for me is a movie where it was, I believe it was back in the late 90s when it was made, that starred Mike Myers.
Oh, I know where this is going.
And, if you guys obviously don't know yet, it is Austin Powers.
Which one though?
The first one.
Good choice.
The first one, because it was just a great start, and the second one was great too. Third one was kind of hit and miss in there, but I still enjoyed it as a kid. I was like, this is pretty funny to me. But the first one is what really got me. I have a vague memory of it, but I remember it being just brilliant. I loved it. Very hilarious. Dr. Evil, one of my favorite comedy villains of all time. Yes. And it shocked me to find out that Mike Myers was also playing as Dr. Evil. That shocked me.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought there was some other guy.
And the fact that he plays this fat bastard too.
I didn't know that either. Thanks for blowing my mind again.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. It was very hilarious. There was a lot of different moments where I just busted out laughing. I don't remember if it was from the first movie. It was Dr. Evil and his mention. Be like, don't look at me. I'm freaking Frankenstein. Give me a hug. With Scotty being played by Seth Green.
There's one guy I always remember when like the steamroller was like, no!
Oh yeah, the guy at the steamroller, he was just sitting there and he's just stopping there. Stop! It was just a fantastic movie overall. Very well done. Very hilarious. I gotta say, that's a great number 4 for
And a great parody to the James Bond movies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alright, number 3. Now this is not only a comedy, but it's also a musical. This is one that my dad, again, showed me as a kid. It's a classic. It's a former SNL comedy sketch that was turned into a movie. It's one of my favorite musicals and one of my favorite comedies of all time. That has John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, directed by John Landis, who also did Animal House. And this is The Blues Brothers. If you have never seen Blues Brothers, I'm pleading you, go and see this movie. It's
that
freaking
means I gotta go
hilarious.
see it.
Yeah. The chemistry between Aykroyd and Belushi in this movie, it's like it actually seems like they are real brothers. And like when they do their musical routines, especially the Soul Man routine, it's one of the funniest things. The whole plot is that like they're trying to save their orphanage that they grew up in, at a Catholic orphanage. And they're being chased by 4 different types of people. Okay, they're being chased by a mystery woman who turns out to be Carrie Fisher.
Oh wow.
Neo-Nazis.
Oh my god.
A country band, and the police all together.
Wow.
But one of the funniest things that I'll always remember in the movie was that car chase. Holy crap. The Nazis blocking them. Out of nowhere, they go from just like rolling on the ground, just like flying up in the air, and then like out of nowhere just more things come up with them in like this cop car, which is like several thousand feet above there, just drops all the way down.
Oh wow.
And literally at one point the fucking army comes after them. I love Blues Brothers so much, but sadly there was a sequel that came after that sucked so much.
There was a sequel?
Blues Brothers 2000, it sucked.
2000, ooh.
John Landis did a fantastic job of directing, not only the comedy segments, but also with the musical numbers, which that's why Blues Brothers is my number 3.
Number 3 for me would be his number 4, which was Blazing Saddles. Funny story. When I was first introduced to Blazing Saddles, I think I was 10 at the time.
Oh
my mom
God.
completely forgot that they had the proficient amount, copious amounts actually, of the N-word.
Oh
and
my
I was like, Mom, what is that word? And she had to explain it to me, and I was like, ooh. I'm looking back on it, and it's really hilarious. The whole movie itself, brilliant.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks is a comical genius.
Yes, he is.
He's done many different films that I've seen. I should have mentioned in the honorable mentions that Robin Hood Men in Tights should have been up in there.
Oh, I totally forgot about that movie.
But they also had a bunch of different like songs in there. Like my favorite one in there was "Our Town Is Turned to Shit."
Oh yeah.
The campfire scene with the beans, everything. It was just so funny, especially the ending. I did not expect the ending.
Oh god.
Ending was hilarious.
That was a funny.
If you haven't seen it, please do. It's an older movie, yes, but don't let that deter you from watching it.
No.
It is great. Oh yeah, don't let the N-word deter you from watching that either. It is brilliant. It is a brilliant movie.
Yes.
And that is why it is on number 3.
Number 2.
Alright, number 2. This movie, again, like when I first saw it, I thought it was going to be my favorite comedy of all time until I saw one movie about a few weeks ago, which just knocked it out of first place. This one is a college fraternity type movie. I think it's a realistic portrayal of college fraternities, and that is Animal House. Again, this was shown to me as a kid as a classic. I watched many of these classes as a kid. John Belushi, there's this one scene where he grabs so much food. He sits down with this one couple, and he's like, you're like a pig, you know that? All of a sudden he puts this one huge thing, white thing in his face. He goes like, pfft. He's like, I'm a Zit. Get it? And he starts like running around a food fight. There's even a scene where like John Belushi's like being a peeping Tom on these people. He turns away from, he looks at the camera and goes like, He's right back, and all of a sudden he starts dribbling, and all of a sudden he just falls right down on his
Oh wow.
I heard this movie was shot in like, what, a month? It's just freaking hilarious. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way. I love the movie so much, and that's why it's my number 2. If you guys haven't seen Animal House, you are missing on one heck of a classic.
For me, number 2 is a classic in all senses, if you're from the US or not. It has so many different notable quotes that you can probably look at and be like, oh, I know where that's from.
Yeah.
Without further ado, I should say it is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. For many people that I've known who I've tried to say, hey, take a look at British comedy, they look at it and they're like, I don't know if I like that, it's dry. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you're giving it much thought.
Exactly.
Now, the thing is, with Monty Python and the Holy Grail, there's it has a lot of dry humor, but there's also a bunch of parts in there where it will make you laugh out loud, literally.
Oh my god, yes.
Like parts such as the Black Knight scene, the Frenchman on the castle, the bunny rabbit. The list goes on. The list goes on. He hasn't seen it until recently, which I've been very disappointed in for it, but I'll forgive him now because now he definitely knows the amazingness that.
In my head.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
For those who don't know, spoiler alert as well for Black Knight. The Black Knight is, of course, a Black Knight. And King Arthur comes around and he's about to fight him. Well, he gets all his limbs lopped off, so he's just like this torso. And he's just thinking he can fight, and it's funny because he says things like, I'll knock all your ankles off or something like that. It's a funny...
That was one of the funniest fight scenes I've ever seen in my life right there.
Yes, it definitely was. I'm semi-disappointed that you haven't seen it sooner, but I'm glad you did. It is an amazing movie overall. Especially, that ending confused the crap out of me, actually.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen right there.
Yeah, the ending I heard is because they actually ran out of budgeting, so they just sort of did that.
Oh, that was perfect then.
It is an amazing comedy. You will laugh. This movie is a must-watch. You must watch it. So that is why it's number 2.
It's number 1.
Okay, my number 1. This is the one that knocked off Animal House. Literally within 5 minutes, I was laughing so hard that my chest was hurting. The last one that happened was when I watched Animal House.
The last time I ever saw you laugh that hard is when you almost puked. But anyway.
Another British comedy classic, and it's my favorite type of humor at all. I just love British movies. I love British humor in general. It makes me laugh the hardest. It's the accents. I love the British accents. My favorite comedy of all time is Monty Python, the Holy Grail. The Black Knight scene where they start like hacking off their torsos, followed by one of the funniest jokes in the movie. It's like, what are you gonna do? Bleed on me? And the way how it's delivered, the way how the comedy is delivered is just hysterical to the max. There's one part, I swear to God, near the middle of it, I was laughing so hard that I was crying so much. Just a full disclaimer, I'd never seen a Monty Python sketch before I watched this movie.
Yeah,
never had.
I can't believe you have. I'm gonna have to show you a couple then.
Well, I had seen about 5 minutes of live, and Brian before I saw it looked hysterical, but in terms of watching all the way, Monty Python the Holy Grail is the first Monty Python sketch comedy movie I'd ever seen full through, and I am so glad this was the first one I watched. And that one scene I love so much when they do like the witch scene, like when you see like
yeah, the monks that come by.
Yeah, and then they try and like see if this chick's a witch, and just how they try and deduct it all together.
Yeah.
And the ending to that movie, the ending, so hysterical. Just a spoiler, I have to talk about the ending, even though I hate talking about spoilers, but you know what, if you haven't seen it, they go out for this huge battle going to this castle, and out of nowhere, the fucking police pulls up and starts arresting them.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about like medieval police, we're talking like
real police.
Like literal cops with cars and everything.
Yeah, like cop cars pull up and they arrest all of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Yeah. And once I saw the cop cars pull up, I was at my mom's house. I almost fell to the floor laughing. I cannot believe I skipped so many years of my life until I had seen this British comedy masterpiece. Monty Python is British comedy at its finest. But Monty Python the Holy Grail altogether is the funniest movie I've ever seen. It tickled my funny bone submission. It made me laugh so hard I cried. I nearly fell on the floor laughing, and my chest was hurting the entire time I was watching.
I can see why that would be number 1 then. My number 1 is another Mel Brooks film, but I believe is the best one he has done. Just because, 1, I'm a nerd. There's no getting around that, which I'm fine by me. The parody of this movie is off Star Wars. Forget it. It is Spaceballs.
Oh, yes.
This movie is a parody off Star Wars, obviously. But it's done so well that, like, I've seen a lot of different parodies of Star Wars, fan and not official ones too. This one is the best one overall because it made me laugh so hard at many different points. Like, there's a lot of different parts in it that made me laugh really hard, like the different characters they had. Dark Helmet, which is obviously the villain of the...
Rick Moranis from Ghostbusters fame, just an FYI right there.
Yeah, who is obviously a parody of Darth Vader. The main character is like a mix between Han Solo and Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
The Force is not called the Force, it's called the Schwartz. Instead of lightsabers, they use rings that emit a lightsaber, so they're kind of like the Green Lantern.
Forget the ring, I found a Cracker Jack box.
One of my favorite parts also too is where their Dark Helmet finds the main characters, the protagonists, in the desert.
God.
And he said comb the desert. They have these really big ass combs. And they go back and forth with this, like, did you find anything? There's these two guys, they have the big giant comb, they're like, nope. They asked the second group, they had the same one. Then you go to the third group, which is this black guy who has like the afro comb. He's like, how about you? Have you seen anything? He looks over, we ain't found shit. Yoda is yogurt.
Yes.
Just overall, the whole entire movie is just hilarious.
Merchandising! You see the flamethrower? Kids love it.
The Spaceballs flamethrower, everybody loves that. Especially the opening scene to the movie.
Oh my god!
As you know, in Star Wars, you get the huge Star Destroyer that just keeps going on and on. But in Spaceballs, it's like that, except it's just continuing forward. You see under the spaceship just goes on and on and on. It's funnier than hell, honestly. The characters, the plot, everything was done so well. It was just amazing. And not only that, ludicrous speed. It's a fantastic movie. If you have not seen it, I highly suggest it. Go watch all of Mel Brooks' movies, actually. Yes. He is a comical genius, like I said. He just knows how to make a movie.
Alright, and now the movie you've all been waiting for. It is... the shit stains of all the comics movies. You go first.
Very recently, Austin and I decided to go see a movie. A certain movie where we thought, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe it's not. Well, we were horribly wrong, and I was honestly this close from saying...
We basically thought it was going to be the movie that it was going to be so bad that it was so good. It was like basically like the Room type movie. Like
like something like that. But it wasn't. It was just bad overall. I'd never seen a movie try so hard at comedy. Without further ado, it is movie 43. Yeah, so anywho.
Fuck you! How to do that, sorry.
Yeah, that's cute. Anywho, towards the movie right here, as you can see. But anywho, this movie was absolutely terrible. It was terrible in all senses of the word you can think of. It wasn't funny. It was crude, very, very crude, especially
disgusting.
I can't give any other words to make the justice that needs to be done in order to describe what this film is. This right here, as you can see, is just terrible. Austin, I honestly was this close to telling Austin, say, hey, come on, man, we should probably leave this. This is stupid. But we toughed it out through the whole thing, and I wish I had. Especially by the final part in the movie, which I will not discuss because it is just wrong. It is wrong by all means.
Although there were actually two sketches we actually laughed at.
Yeah, there's two sketches that we actually kind of laughed at. It was sort of like that. This is kind of stupid, but kind of funny.
There's this one sketch where it involved Chris Pratt and Anna Faris, and it reveals that Anna Faris is a fan of shit, that you wanted to poop on her. And I'm not even kidding. He goes to the max. He drinks laxative. He has burritos. Yeah. And he tries to take a poop. He tries to poop on her. Then she runs. Then all of a sudden he runs outside out of nowhere, a car comes out of nowhere, smacks him, and oh my god, there's shit everywhere.
In the famous words of Bob Saget, there's shit everywhere.
I was like, why would you fucking show that? We were like, oh my god!
Yeah, it was a very disgusting movie, very crude, very, like I said before, it was just awful. But yeah, so overall, this movie is absolutely freaking terrible. This mess right here is just... I can't believe it's been in production for that long.
Neither can I.
That's terrible. It's terrible. But anyways, it's just awful, disgusting. Okay, I can't describe it anymore. It was just bad. It was awful. It was not funny. It was trying too hard to be funny. But yeah, so that's basically why I would say that is the shit stain of comedy right there. But maybe,
yours, at least.
Yes, but maybe yours can out-top that one.
My worst comedy. Not only my worst comedy, but it's also the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Again, this was a movie like my favorite comedies. Again, my dad showed me. This was at a time that my dad wanted to show me so-called classics like this.
Horrid abomination of God knows what, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. This was a movie that when I watched it, I knew literally, as soon as it ended, no, not even ended, at 5 minutes in, I was going like, what in the shitting hell am I watching? And it's one of those movies that, there was a certain part of the movie that I came this close to puking my brains out. This was made in the 70s, by the way, by the way. I don't get why people love this movie. I just don't get it. And that is Pink Flamingos. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
This right here again is like.
Ah.
All right, it's okay. It's okay. I'm sitting right here, so just watch where you're swinging.
It stars a drag queen, Divine. That's her name, literally, Divine. She has been recently titled the filthiest person in the world, which basically means they are just overall fucked up people. Like, these are the type of people you would see in an insane asylum. They do nothing but throw shit, eat shit, and do bad shit.
That's
the 3 shits right there, people.
Okay.
I'm just telling you right now. There are these 2 people, the Connies or something like that, and they're jealous of them, so they take away your child by, I think, like, destroying her trailer. And these guys literally run a sex slave underground thing where they sell little children for sex slaves.
Good God.
This movie is truly a fucked up movie. No, I mean, like, I'm not trying to, like, no pun intended, like, but I'm serious. I just don't understand how people like this movie. I don't understand. My dad was like, I want to show you class. I was like, Dad, that movie scarred me for life. It literally did. I saw it one time. Huh?
The only time, right?
Yeah, only time. When I did my first review of it, people were so mad at me because they're like, dude, you need to get a grip. I'm sorry, but this was my opinion, and I don't get how people like disgusting movies like these. I just don't get it. This movie, it's like, if you thought movie 43 is disgusting, why don't you see Pink Flamingos?
It's got nothing on this movie.
Nothing.
That's like Ace Ventura done wrong.
Yeah. It's exactly the way I would, and I'm not even, the acting is terrible, the jokes, it's a black comedy. This isn't even a black comedy, no. The ending scene is Divine is following a dog. This was real, by the way. Divine's following this dog, the dog takes a shit, and no pun intended, I shit you not. She just crushes down, picks up the shit, and eats it. It was real dog shit. It was real. And then she said, like, I'm the filthiest motherfucker alive. Oh, God.
Wow. Wow, okay.
I said in my review that people are fucked up in the head. I think I was going a little too far for saying that.
Maybe it's because it's also a matter of opinion, but I mean.
Yeah, it's exactly. But I mean,
it's more like that. It's more like the question of like, how can you like this?
I'm not gonna say you're really fucked up in the head if you like this movie, but I'm just gonna say you have to have a very specific type of humor to like this. And the thing is, my humor did not fit this movie, and literally, I was like Cartman watching the Terrence and Phillip movie. Like when it's like that movie has impacted my fragile little mind. But it did it in the most wrong way possible. It literally scarred me for life. I just hate it so much, the depths of my soul, literally, all the way. And it made me hate John Waters. But I mean, I've seen interviews, he's a funny dude, but I just don't get. But the thing is, there are movies I like back then, like A Clockwork Orange. That's one of my favorite films of all time. Pink Flamingos, though, not at all, in my eyes, at least, in my eyes, just saying. But for people who like it,
good on you.
I'm glad you like it, I guess. Pink Flamingos is the worst shit-stained comedy I've ever seen in my life.
Possibly worst movie ever?
Oh, it's the worst movie I've ever seen. There's no doubt about that. Alright, so that was our top 5 comedies, honorable mentions, and of course, the shit stains of all the comedies. Dragoonxls, Shane, thank you so much. By the way, the top 5 Star Wars games is coming up very soon. By the end of the month, it will be up. And until that, we will see you guys next time.
See you around. Take care.
Seriously, do it. Do it. Do it.